This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to buckle up for Bumper to Bumper Radio. I know, it sounded kind of goofy, but I'm tired of this good morning stuff. It's not really morning anymore. It's 11, for God's sake. So, again, Bumper to Bumper Radio here every Saturday at 11. And I'm Matt Allen. He's Dave Riccio. And as always, we're here to help you with your car. So if you've got a car question or a car problem and you want to call us, don't be shy, please. Just do it. Nobody can see you. You can give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277 KTAR. Or if you want to send a text message, you can do that at 411-923. And on today's roadmap, of course, we've got Dave's infamous, not so famous, I don't know what it is.
Not so good.
Fact or fiction, of course. As I said, we're taking text and phone calls. And snake oil, additives, a little fix in a bottle, little vitamins in the bottle for your car.
My grandfather was a big proponent of the additives. And I was just reading up because one he was popular with, started with the first initial S, ended with the number 50. He said, oh, yeah, you got to put this in the car every 50,000 miles. And he raised me on that stuff. And I was just reading up, and I don't know if it was true or not on the internet, that they actually got sued for claims that weren't provable. You know, they just couldn't substantiate the claims.
Like, this does everything. It'll even polish
better gas mileage, engine lasts twice as long, all kinds of stuff. And I don't know that there was any truth to it.
Well, I think there's all kinds of different additives. Like we said, there's additives that you might think of a stop leak. You have a problem, and there's this thing that you go to the auto parts store and look on the wall. And there's all these mechanics in a can. These little teeny guys, they shrink down. They fit them into a 12 or 14.
They could never fit you in a can.
I know, it's too much. So they've got these mystery oils or additives to fix problems. And then there's the other type of additives, which maybe we supplement. There's good additives, right, Dave? I mean, there's stuff you have to put an additive in some cars on the rear differential, for example.
Yeah, so a friction modifier in the rear differential, that's a normal additive for differentials that have a posi traction or limited slip. And there's actually different additives because some have different styles of limited slip.
Right. So do we want to talk about first the fix it in the can and how those can kind of go wrong and when it's appropriate, maybe when it's not?
I would love to talk about which ones are bad for you, bad for your car, which ones you shouldn't buy, which ones you should stay away from. The first one I'll talk about because it's my love, transmissions. People come in and the first thing they do when they get a transmission problem is they go buy themselves a bottle of the transmission, fix it in a bottle, and they put it in, and all it does is take a perfectly good transmission and wreck it. I have not seen one that I'm a big proponent of. Generally, they're stop leak, stop slip, and they'll do more damage than good in a lot of cases. There is times where, yeah, you know what, it's a Hail Mary on the side of the road. I'm going to throw some of this stuff in, and I know the transmission's already trashed, and why not?
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting at the O'Reilly in Blythe on a Sunday afternoon, and you want to get home. Sure, what the heck? Why not? If you've got a problem symptomatic of what that additive can cure, and I think that's where you're going, Dave. You know, maybe you've got a minor leak or a big leak or a minor slip, but if the slip isn't caused by something that this oil additive can manipulate somehow, and I guess the additive is maybe swelling a seal, for example, to stop a leak. But if the leak isn't caused by a seal, it's going to go swell everything else that doesn't need to be swollen, right?
Well, here's what we do is we get the car, they put in the additive, we know it, we can smell it, it stinks, and we fix the speed sensor, and then we service the transmission to get all the garbage out of there. So you've got a speed sensor that's bad, causing your transmission to feel like it's slipping, and you pour this stuff in. The other example of it I have is there's people out there that are well-intentioned, good advice type friends, and they say, oh, get yourself a bottle of that Stop Schmooey slip and put that in your transmission. That'll take care of it. Try that first. Well, I had a customer said, yeah, I put this, what did you put in it? And she showed it to me. This is what I put in it. And I read the Bible. It says, whatever you do, do not use on CVT transmissions. Well, she had a CVT transmission.
Perfect.
Most people don't even know what a CVT transmission is, and unless they're people that like cars and are into new technologies and all that stuff, well, possibly you could ruin something by trying an additive. It's not possibly. It happens more than... I hear more bad stories about additives than good stories.
Well, okay, yeah, to fix a problem, it just won't fix the problem. Now, for example, in my shop, we use a product from a company called BG. Now, we'll talk about some good additives. Let's just say, and we do it fairly often, you have a minor seep. I mean, we're going to talk about drip or leak, seepage, maybe sweating. Talking about a very, very minor leak from a power steering fluid. Well, in those cases, we might service the power steering fluid, pull some fluid out, and just add a little bit of this additive. It's a lubricant. I call it like the shot that was in the brand new power steering fluid, and maybe it's got a little bit of mystery fluid in it. And we've had success with those, really slowing down or stopping a minor seepage of a leak. So I think that's an example. If you've got a professional like us telling you and explaining, here's what we're going to use in your car, that's a case of a good one. We're not really trying to fix some catastrophic problem. And I think that's the message too, is don't think you can fix a $2,500 transmission with a $14 bottle of fluid.
You can give it a shot, but you may take, a $300 problem and make yourself a $2,500 problem if you're not careful, right? Because you're trying to fix something that ain't going to fix and make it worse. So that would be the one that I would think of that would be bad. That would be a big mistake. I'm trying to think of some of the other mistakes. There's when I think about air conditioned services, and there's a lot of stop leaks for your air conditioned system, and I don't know that ever ends well. Give me an example of why that wouldn't end well.
Well, the stop leak it may not end well for the customer. Where it usually doesn't end well is for the shop that comes in after the fact, because Harry homeowner.
He's a nice guy, by the way.
Yeah, he is. Harry homeowner does his air conditioning service and goes to the auto parts store. They have this great stuff because they say, well, gee, if you need refrigerant, you probably got a leak, so you should use this stop leak. And I think some of these have improved and most of them have gone away. But it used to be, get the stop leak in the system, and then I, the unknowing or unsuspecting shop owner or technician, we hook up our several $1,000 machine, recover this refrigerant that you've added that has stop leak in it, and it glues our machine all up and closes our machine. I guess it's like HIV for the car. You go over here and touch something you should, and then all of a sudden we're passing this, this dirty, contaminated.
You have a way with analogies. I mean, I feel dirty working on your car now.
Sometimes, I guess, but so it can go wrong. It can go wrong there, and again, if the can says it can fix a problem, it probably can't. But then there's additives, Dave. Let's take Techron. We'll use a brand name, for example. A fuel tank additive to maybe help with pinging or a carbon buildup problem. That's a case, I believe, of a good additive in the good use of an additive for your car.
So there is good additives. So if you're one of those people that does want to buy something like that, here's a tendency is people say, well, if a little of this is good, well, more must be better, and they overdo it with these additives. And I was joking before the show, it's kind of like X-Lax. You wouldn't double the dosage at all. That would be bad. So,
Bree's sitting over here on the other side of the glass. She doesn't know what to think with all of our
HIV analogies.
And X-Lax. I don't know, Dave.
So yeah, there's octane boosters. I've seen that. The other additive I'm thinking about is cooling system stop leak. So you're on the side of the road and your radiator pops a hole. So you add this cooling system stop leak. Is there any negatives from doing something like that?
Sure. Well, first off, it can save you. Definitely. If you've got a small leak and these additives can plug that up. The downside on the radiator is, again, we're using this additive. There's some kind of powder forms, and they kind of maybe make a little mud, if you will, or there's other things like bars leak. They've got these pellets that just kind of melt into the cooling system. Those can be great and really bail you out of a situation. But you have to remember, that's not a long-term fix. That's just to get you off the side of the road real quick, because you got to remember all those passages that the water normally flows through in the radiator, they're very small too. So what can happen, besides plugging the leak, we plug up the radiator, and now we've created another new problem that's even worse.
Well, when we come back, we're taking your calls at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. We also will take your texts at 411-923. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Do you love your hybrid? Yep, we did too. Hi, my name is Brian. We bought our Prius to help with my wife's long commute back and forth to work. We love the get up and go and the fuel economy. But 8 years later, our MPG was eroding and the zip was gone. We tried everything from tune-ups to new tires. The dealership's answer was that's just the way it goes with hybrids, and that we were probably looking at a new battery at the cost of $4,000 to $6,000. Sound familiar? We were lost. Then we found the hybrid shop at Goodworks Auto Repair. They were able to condition our battery to like new for a fraction of the cost. The Zip and the 40-plus MPG is back. We're in love again with our Prius and the hybrid shop at Goodworks Auto Repair.
Thanks for the kind words, Brian. Hi, Glenn Hayward for the hybrid shop at Goodworks Auto Repair. Fall in love again with your hybrid. For details, go to goodworksautorepair.com.
It's really coming down now, and that little voice is saying shoulda, coulda, woulda. You meant to call Kaiko Roofing last storm, but you didn't, did you? Now it's raining cats and dogs, and Mr. Shoulda, coulda, woulda is watching a puddle form on the ceiling. If the roof on your home or business is over 10 years old, get rid of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Call Kaiko Roofing at 602-944-4600 for a free checkup today. At Kaiko, we install peace of mind with the finest materials and the most skilled workers, all backed by the owner's pride guarantee. Flat, foam, tile, or shingle, Kaiko handles them all. From a small leak to a complete new roof, Kaiko has you covered. Since 1994, Kaiko has repaired or replaced tens of thousands of valley roofs. Over 50% of our business coming from referrals or repeat customers. In fact, over 98% of our customers say they would refer us to a friend. For more information and financing options, go to KaikoRoofing.com. Kaiko Roofing. We're crazy about quality.
This is Bumper to Bumper, News Talk 92.3, KTAR.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen. This other guy is Dave Riccio. And we've got a guest in today, Pascal Adcock from Virginia Auto Service. He's being a little shy, though. I don't know if he's going to get brave enough to push the button and turn the mic on. But so, Dave, maybe we'll put him on the spot. What do you think?
I think so. At some point, he's coming on the spot. When he least expect it, because I just really enjoy awkward. You know, if I can make something awkward, I will. That's why we're talking about X-Lax in your fuel system. You know, we got a text here. A gentleman has a 2005 Toyota Tundra with a clear coat. Keeps coming off. What can he do? Clear coat problem.
You know, Dave, there's been... I had a Honda Accord that had that paint fading. It usually happens on the top, and there were several years of Chevy products, and I haven't really seen it on a Toyota. But that's a good question. I don't really know. I'm not a body shop guy. And as always, most of the questions that we get here every weekend are around mechanical repairs. What do I do with my brakes, or my car doesn't run right. I think most people don't realize at bumpertobumperradio.com, we've got great body shops there too. Besides mechanical shops, there's great body shops. There's I-17 Collision, First Class
Auto Body, New Image in Tempe.
New Image, and there's a few others. And these are great guys that you need to get to know. And in a case like this on this Toyota, it's one of those things where you've just got to go to Bumper to Bumper Radio, find one of these body shops, and while you're there, maybe you don't need them today, but when you have an accident, and if you haven't had an accident, you will have one. It's just a matter of time. That's going to be the first phone call you want to make is to one of these guys. And but as far as this paint fading, you just need to go in and see a body shop and see what they can do. Sometimes they can paint just the tops of the car, maybe the tops of the fender and blend in, or they can do the hood or the trunk. On the 4Runner, I'm not really sure. We've seen some of those where just the tops of the fenders are faded and the paint's coming off. But I tell you, there's a big difference between a cheap paint job that you might find in the penny saver and one that you might find at one of these body shops. I recently had a friend of mine had an Accord painted, and he got an estimate from one of the body shops, and he's like, geez, that's high. And I said, I know, I just had it done. It's expensive. When he found the $750 job, that turned into a $1,500 job, and that's what I would call like a good 20-footer.
Right.
It looks great from 20 feet
it's
away.
It's a block-or-more paint job. It looks good from a block or more. They put it on with a roller. You know what's nice is they never charge you extra for the paint that they got in the fender wells. I'm always appreciative of that.
Yeah, the trim and all that stuff. Oh, that's all free. No charge.
No charge for that.
Well, we've got some open lines, 602-277-5827. It's 602-277-KTAR. Don't be shy. Give us a call. Anything you want to talk about, that's the topic.
Well, up first this segment, we're going to go with Phil in Scottsdale. He's got a 2005 Mercedes SL500. What can we help you with today, Phil?
Yes, the preventive maintenance or the regular maintenance, I get some things I've kind of never heard of before because this was a pre-owned vehicle. It has a pretty sophisticated system for the shock absorbers. They're all computer. Mm-hmm. Is it a good idea to have a service on that shock system every 40,000, or do you know?
Is somebody trying to tell you that's something that you need, or?
Yeah, I've had a couple of the Mercedes shops say that you need to have a, quote, service done on that system.
Okay. Well, I think I know what they're talking about. There's different kinds of suspension and steering systems, and in this case, I think what they're talking about is active suspension, where the car uses the same hydraulics as the power steering uses, and it can raise and lower the car. So if you're going across I-10 at 90 miles an hour, that active suspension is going to drop that car down just an inch or two possibly.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, and then the other thing that you talked about, the other kind of sports suspensions that don't need to be serviced, is you have the little dial on the dashboard there that says maybe sport, comfort, or race or something like that. And that's a system that doesn't need to be serviced, and all that is the electronics are just changing the valving in each shock absorber, so it's going to change the jounce and the rebound, how that shock travels. So to answer the question, yes, that is a system that should be serviced periodically. The fluid in it does wear out, and I do believe in this particular model it is using the same hydraulic oil as the power steering system, which, by the way, may not necessarily be power steering fluid either.
Well, that may relate because you're talking about speed and things operating different at speed. We've got a text here, 2008 Honda Odyssey. The power steering is very tight when the car is not moving. When the car is moving, it's fine and normal. Is that one of those that has one of those kind of adjustable power steerings where the steering is stiffer, it's different speeds, and maybe lightens up on the, I don't know.
Well, the Honda is going to be much different than the Mercedes, but what I think of on the Honda, that's got speed-sensitive steering. So it's supposed to be very easy in the parking lot, just turn it with one finger, no big deal. There's a speed sensor that the power steering system looks at and uses a reference, and when the car is at a higher speed, it dials back the power steering valving, so when you give it that little nudge at 70 miles an hour, you're not off in the ditch. You're just still cruising down the road, and it's very stable. So on the Honda, I would suspect we might have a problem with the speed sensor. I'd be looking there. That is a computer controlled system. There might be some fault codes or some other indicators in the system. And it just needs the power steering, all the other components looked at. Let's make sure it doesn't have any leaks. The pump is working properly.
Well, we're going to sneak in Lee from Chandler. He looks like he's looking for a Chevette on eBay. What can we help you with today, Lee?
Yes, hi, man. I woke up one morning and I said I just didn't really care about having a fancy car anymore. I said, so my idea was to pass my newer car to my husband. His car we can give to our college-age son, and I want to get an old Chevette, like maybe in the 70s. And I said I didn't know if I should look on eBay, maybe an older couple, get it from like a, individual owner or what. So maybe you guys can direct me.
Well, I don't know. I almost quit a job once over having to work on a Chevette. I mean, the way the distributor cap is, it's buried underneath the air conditioning compressor. I don't know. I don't know if there's any Chevettes still alive.
I don't know when the last time I saw a Chevette was.
You might want to see your therapist first if you really are. If you're really looking for a Chevette, we may want to do.
I think there's a point
different.
to what she's saying though, is that I don't want this new fancy schmancy car with this, speed activated steering and speed activated suspension and all that stuff. I just want a plain Jane car where I can get my ice chest full of beer in a lawn chair and get under the hood and change the spark plugs. And some people hate this new stuff, and it seems a lot more simple, but it looks like Pascal's on his iPhone here trying to find a Chevette. And there is Chevettes for sale.
What are they going for these days, Dave?
On eBay. So you can get one for 1984 for $541. 1987. Wow, this one's a real cream puff for $400. And then Chevrolet. Yeah, they're out there.
Do they run?
I doubt it for $400 that it's going to run very well.
Well, to your point, Dave, we at my shop we have a fair amount of older women. I'd say we take care of, even men. They're widows, widowers, and occasionally they'll have a problem with a car. They'll have a catastrophic failure and they need to replace their car. And they go out and they look and they're looking at just different options, and they don't want this new technology. And we end up taking their older car and fixing it up and making it just as reliable. It just doesn't have all these bells and whistles and Bluetooths and internets and power this and power that. There's something to be said about that.
Start
Simple.
the car, put gas in it, and let it go. I know my dad tried to pass a car on to my grandfather, and my grandfather rejected. He's like, I don't want this stuff because it shifted at the console and not on the steering column. So completely understand where she's coming from. 602-277-5827.
Hi. This is Greg LaFonsi of Automotive Diagnostic Specialties. Long name, right? But we have a short, simple goal. Customer satisfaction is our #1 priority, and everything else takes care of itself. Bumper to Bumper Radio approved. ADS is a family-owned and operated state-of-the-art repair facility that has an expert staff that for the second straight year has earned the coveted AAA Top Shop Award as one of the best shops in the nation. Just east of I-10 on Chandler Boulevard. Find us at automotivediagnosticspecialties.com.
Summer's winding down, Dave. It's back to school.
Yep. Check out my new Scooby-Doo lunchbox, Matt. Cool, huh?
Yeah, nice, Shaggy. And did you write your What My Car Did for Summer essay?
What? Is that due?
Join us Saturdays, 11 to noon, for Bumper to Bumper Radio on News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
And for the best car repair and body shops you can trust, it's bumpertobumperradio.com. Drive in anxious, cruise out feeling fine with Bumper to Bumper Radio. World class and in your own backyard. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is just around the corner at 7th Street in Virginia. And for over 19 years, they've been recognized as one of the best auto repair shops in the country. Voted Best Auto Repair by AZ Central, A+ rated by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranty, and complimentary transportation to and from your home or office. Virginia Auto. They're serious about service. See for yourself. VirginiaAutoservice.com.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions, for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at tricitytransmission.com.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and Bumper to Bumper Radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE MasterTechs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurtz.
You're listening to Bumper on News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and today we're talking about X-Lax and additives in your car. And we're taking your calls at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. We're also taking your text at 411-923. We've got Gavin, Mark, and Chris. And I'm going to go to a text from Ryan. He's bought a used Honda hybrid, and he doesn't want to take it to the dealer because he thinks they're too expensive. where can I get my hybrid serviced? He's a little nervous that most people don't know about hybrid technology. And more hybrids have been around long enough that shops are starting to get a feel for them and starting to see them more often. But we're fortunate in our network at Bumper to Bumper Radio, we've got GoodWorks Auto Repair, which is a hybrid shop. So they specialize in hybrids. They do a lot of, hybrid battery restoration, and it's right down their alley. So if you want to go see Glenn and Nathan at GoodWorks Auto Repair, they're in Tempe, basically at the 101 in Broadway. And they work on all kinds of vehicles, but they have taken a big interest in hybrids, and that's what they do.
Well, not just a big interest, big investment. They've got all the proper tools to service the car properly, and like you said, Dave, to restore the battery and bring that. It's you can tune up the engine, you can tune up the battery too, and make it last longer and get more efficiency out of each charge and each run. And it's a hybrid too. Doing that at home, Dave, I would disagree a little bit and say it's not that we didn't know how to service the car. A lot of people are just downright afraid of them. I mean, you've got to have special thick insulated gloves. The guy climbing the pole for APS, he's got the big insulated arm protectors, and you've got to have that stuff. So even at home, if you're trying to do some work on your hybrid car, be very careful. And they've got the wires, most of the high voltage wire identified by orange. That's a 3-phase electrical system, and it can kill you if you don't do it right. So,
well, thanks for the text, Ryan. We're going to go with Gavin in Chandler. He's got a 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee. What can we help you with, Gavin?
Yeah, hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Good. Hey, I just bought this new Grand Cherokee. It's a 2014, nice vehicle. I wanted to look at getting some new rims for it, and it comes with the 18-inch wheels. I think they're 265 R18s or whatever. Well, if you look online, you can find plenty of rims that are 18-inch, that are said that they have the right offset and whatnot for the Grand Cherokee. But if I go to any of the rim stores in town, none of them have 18s. They all want to sell me 20s. And then, if you get 20s, the tires start getting, smaller, like they're narrower or thinner or whatever.
Well, yeah, the aspect ratio, and then you start getting into a poor ride. I think that
they ride really crummy.
Right, and so I just want to get some nice 18-inch, and I can find them online. Maybe I can just purchase them online. Should I do that and then just take them to a shop to have them put on? Or, like I say, none of these rim stores even sell. They want me to replace the rims and the tires.
Right. Well, I think you should be able to find something. I think Discount Tire is a good resource. They have a good website where you can actually select your Jeep, and I think you can even drill it down to what color your Jeep is, and then you can start looking at what the different wheels look like. Try that. Tire Rack is also another one. You might have heard Pascal whispering in the background. He's still afraid to push that button. But Tire Rack. There wouldn't be anything wrong with that. But I would think that you could find something locally, though. I would think Discount would be a great resource. And go into the store and tell them what you told us. I don't want 20s.
I would stick with 18s. Yeah. I think 20s are over the top, and it just says you're compensating if you got to go to a 20. Stick with the 18s.
Oh, boy, Dave. So, yeah, Gavin, good call, but like I said, give Discount a shot, see what they say. Go in, talk to them. And I guess the other important thing is I wouldn't just go and say, I like this wheel, and then go buy it offline. And then end up with something that doesn't have the right offset. You really want to stick with a expert shop, if you will. And in your neighborhood, too, in Chandler, there's ADS, Automotive Diagnostic Specialties. They do a lot of custom work. I don't know that they do wheels and tires necessarily.
Greg would be happy to do that for you.
But he can help you with it, for sure.
He would. Thanks so much for the call. We're going to go with Mark in Chandler on a 1992 Mazda Miata. How can we help you today, Mark?
Hi, I got this car for my sister who doesn't want to sell it but doesn't have room for it either. It's got 49,000 miles on it, and I know how important regular maintenance, especially oil, is. My question is, how comfortable are you on the report that I would get from used oil analysis? You probably know the big name companies, but I got used oil analysis. Give you a specific. I've gone 2,000 miles in the last 17 months. And the report came back and said that it's wonderful.
I would say that it's probably a reliable report. Yeah, we use a shop called Lab One here in Phoenix for the oil samples. Did you have another second part to that question, Mark?
Same question on my 2011 Infiniti. If I'm getting good oil reports back, regardless of when I'm changing it, are you comfortable with those reports as far as how often I change my oil?
Yes and no. I think if you are very astute about your car, and it seems like you are, and you're paying attention to it, I think it's okay. Especially on the Mazda, we've got a few Miata customers. Those all have low mileage. Not everybody drives them a lot. So if you're doing the service yourself and you want to let it go 17 months, I think that's just fine. I would caution you that when you do, the occasions that you do start the car, if you're going to start it up just to move it, at least get it up to operating temperature, drive it around the block, and let's help boil or get some of the condensation, some of the waters and contaminants out of the oil through the PCV system and such. On your newer car, same thing. As it gets older and ages, though, I'm not so much concerned about the oil. The oil, I think we've shown, can last and will last if the car is running properly and is tuned. It's the other maintenance that needs to be done that often gets overlooked, or you have a failure that would have been caught had you had a service done. That's where I think the oil change intervals cause problems.
Well, and for those of you listening, you can actually send take an oil sample, send it to a lab. I know Matt at his shop, he collects oil samples and sends them off to Lab 1 for his customers. And you guys have been doing that at Virginia Auto for a couple years now.
Couple years, yeah.
And you're looking for trends or big negatives. You kind of got to look at them as a whole. You can't just look at one snapshot and say, yeah, this is how my engine's doing. But is there any trends going on? In a lot of the big, heavy industrial equipment, they do that, where the engines are super expensive and they really want to keep track of maintenance, and you can catch problems ahead of time if you start to see some water in the oil or something else going on. So it's something that's available for you guys who are astute and want to know how your car is doing. So thanks so much for the call. We're going to go with Chris in Phoenix on a 2004 Ford F-150. How can we help you today, Chris?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Good. I had a question about my 2005 Ford F-150. I'm trying to figure out if there is a valve adjustment I can do on there. Get a little bit of tacking noise coming from the top side of the engine.
I think that is going to be all hydraulic lifters on there, and this goes to our additive. Is that the EcoBoost engine, or what engine is in that Ford?
It's a 5.4 liter. I had an engine put in a couple of years ago. You guys recommended Larry Harker's.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't put it in, but he did some other work on it and got it running really good. But I can still hear a little pinging after it warms up.
Now hold on a second. Time out. You say pinging. Let's make sure we have our terminology right. So when you hear this noise, is the engine just idling? And
yes, sir.
And it's just okay. So
after it warms up.
Okay, but you can duplicate the noise by just sitting in the parking lot. You don't have to be driving.
Right.
Okay. And that's not what I would typically call a ping. A ping you're going to have while you're driving up the road or going up a hill, doing some light acceleration, pinging there. So I would probably get it back to Larry Harker's, let them take a look at it or take a listen, and they might have an idea. I was going to start talking about different additives and such. It probably doesn't apply to you now because of the fact that the engine is a new engine, a replacement engine. But if you ignore the oil in the car a long time and you get sludge and you get this buildup in the oil, a lot of new cars now are very tight tolerances on the lifters. They're using an oil pressure for variable valve timing. That might be a time where that's an example of a case when an additive to try and clean that junk out of the engine is a good case. Although I don't think it applies to you this time.
Well, variable valve timing, and that's something that's the last decade of cars. And that's where I get nervous about people going really long on their oil change intervals, because the oil is so much more crucial than it used to be. It really needs to be changed. And you see these manufacturers saying, you can go 10,000 miles without an oil change. I think that's hogwash. Those people are in the business of selling cars, not necessarily selling a car that's just going to last. So, I got to question the motive sometimes on that, because we are seeing problems that are really new that we didn't used to see, and it comes down to lack of maintenance. So don't think we can just go 15,000. I mean, some of these intervals are 15,000 miles in some of these European cars.
I had a gal call me. She has a Smart. That's that little tiny compact car. It's a Mercedes engine in it. It's a huge 1 liter engine. I mean, your 2 liter bottle of Coke at the stores got more displacement than this little engine, but the oil capacity is only 3.2 quarts, and they're saying once a year or 10,000 miles. That's crazy. It's crazy.
It's time for Fact or Fiction.
Do I sound powerful when I do that whole reverberation thing?
I think you're compensating.
I am compensating. I am a compensator. Don't tell anyone. Fact or fiction for today, I thought it was appropriate because we're talking about additives and maybe a little bit of roadside fixes. I read somewhere once that you could seal up a hole in your radiator with an egg. Fact or fiction?
Pascal? Yes. I would take that as fact. I think there's something. I've heard that. I've never tried that one. But I think the theory is that I'm guessing on a cold engine, you put an egg in there, start it up, it kind of scrambles and cooks as the engine heats up. And I think the theory there is that this egg white or the chunk of egg there will find its way towards the hole because it's going to get pushed out with the water and plug the hole. I've had firsthand experience. I had an old 2AZ driving back from Pasadena one time, and it was overheating. I'm going into Blythe. I mean, I get the windshield wipers on, keeping the coolant off the windshield, and I pulled into Blythe and went to the Checker Auto and bought a tool to take the thermostat out, and went to Wendy's and borrowed the salt and pepper shaker off the off the counter and poured a whole deal of pepper in there.
Borrow? Did you bring it back?
Yes, to the one in Phoenix. and so pepper plugged up my hole in my radiator that particular day. And so those little goofy farm type things work occasionally.
Well, when we come back, we've got Omar and Tim, and maybe time for one more at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Are you looking for a refreshing change in customer service? I'm Lee Weatherby from Accurate Automotive. How about a refreshing change in your car repair relationship with honest, clear, and responsive service that looks out for your needs and not ours? For over 20 years, we've been delivering award-winning service provided by ASE certified technicians with one goal, looking out for your best interest. If it needs fixing, we'll tell you. If it doesn't, you'll know that too. I guarantee that you will not get that business-as-usual treatment at Accurate Automotive. Foreign and domestic, cars, trucks, and even fleet service, Accurate can handle your job. I invite you to come in and experience a refreshing difference in car repair and maintenance. Stop by for a free courtesy inspection, a $49 value. We feel it is well worth our investment in you because we know that good long-term relationships start early with your first walk through our doors. I'm Lee Weatherby, and I'll be there to greet you. Accurate Automotive, home of friends serving friends, just off Broadway and Robeson in Mesa since 1992. For more information, check us out at AccurateAutomotiveAZ.com today.
Hi, this is Jerry Colangelo, inviting you to be my guest at the legendary Biltmore Golf Club for our third annual Bunker to Bunker tournament benefiting Phoenix Children's Hospital.
Join us Saturday, September 27th for a fun day of golf, lunch, and prizes, all for just $85. And that includes a free coupon for a second round of golf. Make it a stay and play at the Arizona Biltmore Resort with special room rates starting at just $109.
Space is limited, so register today at azbiltmoregc.com. That's azbiltmoregc.com.
Hi, this is Greg LaFonsi of Automotive Diagnostic Specialties. Long name, right? But we have a short, simple goal. Customer satisfaction is our #1 priority, and everything else takes care of itself. Bumper to Bumper Radio approved. ADS is a family-owned and operated state-of-the-art repair facility that has an expert staff that for the second straight year has earned the coveted AAA Top Shop Award as one of the best shops in the nation. Just east of I-10 on Chandler Boulevard. Find us at automotivediagnosticspecialties.com.
Classic. Oh, I love this song. Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and today we're helping you with your car.
Classic.
It's a classic. Is it not that old?
How old are you? like Boston and Foreigner, Doobie Brothers. That's classic, not this.
I'm 36 and Matt is 44, and we have a little breakdown when it comes to generational stuff. Like he was talking today about some movie called Scarface. I've never seen Scarface. What the heck is that? You know, and then
time to get out, Dave.
Used cars. So I've got a list of old movies that I gotta catch up so I can even have a conversation with them anymore.
Well, in Used Cars, that movie, that's an Arizona classic. If you haven't seen Used Cars, it's not a family movie, but it's great.
It is a good movie. Well, I did want to mention to those of you who are listening that are in our industry, you might own an automotive shop or work for an automotive shop. ASA, Automotive Service Association, is getting busy, and we are working to make it a training organization. It always has had an element to that, but really that's where we're putting our roots, is in training. So on September 17th, we have a little dinner, some conversation, and tour of the Open Wheel Racing Museum, and we'll be talking more about the details of the direction of ASA and what we're doing. There's some round tables for shop owners that are going on throughout the year, and then Gary Elliott will be stopping by your shop and saying, hey, are you signing up for ASA? And don't throw them out. Pay the money, sign up.
We need. Somebody asked me, well, what do I get out of it? And I said, the first year, expect nothing. We just want your money.
I mean, absolutely.
We don't get the money. I'm talking about the Service Association, the ASA. We as shop owners and technicians in this profession, we need to have a professional organization to help us and provide this training and also get us together to network and talk and have have someone help you with a problem or whatever it is you may need. But that's what the ASA is all about. So now is the best and a great time to get involved.
So don't ignore those nagging emails from ASA in your inbox. September 17th. We hope to see you there. You're going to need to RSVP. We're going to go with Omar in Mesa on a 2004 Acura. What can we help you with today, Omar?
Hi, I'm calling because I'm having problems with my car, like locking me out on fifth, sixth, and reverse when I'm parked, and I really can't even reverse it. It's locked out pretty much.
So it won't come out of parked and go in reverse or go into drive, that type of thing?
It's a manual, so it has a fifth and sixth in there. I guess it has something called a reverse lock solenoid, but I'm just trying to find out more information before I start messing around.
Messing around with it. I'm not familiar with anything like that off the bat. Does that ring a bell with you, Matt?
No. A manual transmission that won't go into reverse. Now, I mean, there on the shifter, there is some. You do have to push over. There's like a gate, if you will, that you have to overcome. That could be. The linkage could be getting kind of sloppy. It might be causing a problem like that.
And I'm not sure the specifics of it. Some of them have on the shifter, they have a little thing that you got to grab and clasp in order to get over into reverse. That way you don't go into reverse going 60 miles an hour, because that's frowned upon. It doesn't end well.
Right.
But I'm not familiar enough with it. You can send me an email. I'm in the transmission business, so it's something I could answer. Go to bumpertobumperradio.com, send me an email, and I will look into the specifics of your car and what's set up there, and if there is a reverse solenoid or lockout solenoid, that type of thing. Thanks so much for the call, Omar. We are going to go with Tim in AJ on a 1993 Nissan pickup. How can we help you today, Tim?
Hey, I got a question for you. I've always been, believed in preventive maintenance. So I've kept the oil change. I flushed the radiator in the little truck. It's been a great truck. It has 140,000 miles on it. And, changed the fluid in the differential. But I talked to a couple of mechanics on changing the transmission fluid, and both of them said, hey, if it's not having any problems, don't change it. And I'm like, oh, I should put fresh fluid in it with a new filter. And that's what I'm getting back. Don't change it if you're not having any problems. What do you think?
Well, that's probably the most frequently asked question here on the show in regard to transmissions, and as well as at the transmission shop. We get calls all the time, and there is all different generations of transmissions, and there is some belief out there that if you service a transmission that's working fine, you're going to make it go out. Not true. If you do service a transmission that has a problem, a glitch in it, something going on, You can take a transmission that's going out and kick it over the edge by servicing it, but not servicing it will also make it go out. Because at some point that fluid loses its lubricity. Is that an actual word, lubricity?
I hear people use it.
It sounds good. At some point, the fluid is going to break down, and especially it's a 1993. To remove the transmission pan and change the filter and put it back in your 4 or 5 quarts of fluid is not going to do damage. Now, when we do about 15 services a week at Tri-City Transmission, we always drive them before we service them, because we want to make sure there is no problem, because that's going to be a weird conversation if the transmission goes out.
Well, and a lot of people come in at my shop, Dave, I needed to get my transmission serviced. Why? Why is always the question. And you probably get it more than I do, where they come in and they don't say a word. Just want to get a service. Why? Just because.
No one woke up this morning and decided, today seems like a pretty good day to get a transmission service. So when people come in specifically asking for one, they're like praying and hoping and crossing their fingers, and I'll just get a service, and hopefully that. And that's where some of that reputation for service and a transmission comes from, because people went in there with a problem, and of course they got a service and it kicked it over the edge. Transmission services generally don't fix transmissions.
Here's another one right up your alley, Dave, and it's a text, and makes me wonder what people are thinking sometimes. But right up the alley of transmissions and additives, it says, "How about my transmission is leaking? Should I add some brake fluid to stop the leak?" Now, we've heard of these old hillbilly things of used car slimes of putting a little bit of brake fluid in. I heard that 20 years ago. Put some brake fluid in to swell the seal. If you take a piece of rubber and put it in some brake fluid, it blows up 5 times the size.
5 times the size, and it eventually deteriorates and falls apart. But I am not a fan of putting brake fluid in the transmission. I was talking to Leon, one of the founders of Tri-City Transmission, and I said, so-and-so was giving a little advice the other day about putting brake fluid in the transmission. And I said, Leon, I think that may have worked in the old days when you guys worked on transmissions, but in the new days, he said it didn't even work back then. It's just a wives' tale, and it makes people feel like, hey, you can do something. Yeah, just put a little bit of that there brake fluid in the transmission. Where do you find the formula for that for the prescription? I know I'm going to need this much drug if I'm this weight, but how much brake fluid do you put in your transmission?
The whole bottle. Right?
A little must be good, more must be even better. Kind of like your X-Lax.
I don't know. Let's squeeze in Mark from Chandler real quick. Dave, Mark, what can we help you with on your Mustang today?
Yeah, I got an 04 Mustang, and I've been doing my own oil changes, and I always see these things for engine cleaning additives, and if I go to the Ford dealer, they always say we can clean your engine and whatever. I mean, if I'm using premium Mobil 1 synthetic oil, does my engine even need to be cleaned? Is my ultimate question.
I would say probably not. If you've been on top of that and you've always kept good oil in the car, you don't need to worry about it. Now, we do that. We use some oil additives and cleaners at my shop, but these are on specific cars. Like, there's cars that we know that have sludge problems and have pattern failures. We'll use them there. You went 4,000 miles past your oil change, we're using them. But you're changing your oil every 5,000 miles and using Mobil 1, no additives on that one.
No additives needed. Thanks for joining us. If you're looking for a shop to start a relationship with, bumpertobumperradio.com. While you're there, be sure to like Matt and myself on Facebook. He's Matt Allen. I'm Dave Riccio. We'll see you next week.
Do you love your hybrid? Yep, we did too. Hi, my name is Brian. We bought our Prius to help with my wife's long commute back and forth to work. We love the get up and go and the fuel economy. But 8 years later, our MPG was eroding and the zip was gone. We tried everything from tune-ups to new tires. The dealership's answer was that's just the way it goes with hybrids, and that we were probably looking at a new battery at the cost of $4,000 to $6,000. Sound familiar? We were lost. Then we found the hybrid shop at Good Works Auto Repair. They were able to condition our battery to like new for a fraction of the cost. The Zip and the 40-plus MPG is back. We're in love again with our Prius and the hybrid shop at Good Works Auto Repair.
Thanks for the kind words, Brian. Hi, Glenn Hayward for the hybrid shop at Good Works Auto Repair. Fall in love again with your hybrid. For details, go to goodworksautorepair.com.
The lazy days of summer are coming to an end, and the crazy days of back to school, daycare, and kids' sports are upon us. Hi, I'm Matt Allen, owner of Virginia Auto Service. Don't let servicing your car add to the chaos of your busy schedule. Live or work in Central Phoenix? Virginia Auto Service is right next door at 7th Street in Virginia. We'll pick you up and drop you off at your home or office, and for over 19 years, we've been Central Phoenix's trusted solution for auto repair and maintenance. Check us out at virginiaautoservice.com.
Hi, Dave Riccio, owner of Tri-City Transmission and co-host of your Bumper to Bumper radio show. Did you know that 1 out of every 4 transmissions is replaced in air? Transmissions are the most complicated part of your vehicle and misunderstood by so many. At Tri-City Transmission, we diagnose over 200 transmissions every month. We know transmissions. Don't be a victim of transmission malpractice. Protect yourself with knowledge. Download our free tip sheet, Top 10 Reasons Transmissions Are Replaced in Air, at TricityTransmission.com. That's TricityTransmission.com.